Hello and welcome to KaiCreative. My name is Kai, and in today's video we're going to be comparing the photos and videos captured with the original Canon R6 mirrorless full-frame camera and the Apple iPhone 14 Pro. So let's get to it. Let's begin real quick with the specs. The original Canon R6 was released in August of 2020, boasting a full-frame 20.1 megapixel CMOS sensor, and in this comparison video I'll be using various lenses including the EF24 to 105mm lens, the EF70 to 200 and the RF 16 to 35mm 2.8 to showcase its capabilities against the focal lengths of the iPhone 14 Pro. The iPhone 14 Pro was released in September of 2022 and features a sophisticated camera setup on the back. The primary 48 megapixel quad pixel camera has two focal lengths, the 24mm and the 48mm. The telephoto camera is 12 megapixels with a 77mm focal length. The ultra wide camera is also 12 megapixels, offering a 13mm focal length. And you have the front facing selfie camera, which boasts a 12 megapixel sensor. So recently we went to the Hyper Japan convention in London, which gave us an amazing opportunity to test these two technological marvels out side by side. And if you don't know what Hyper Japan is, it's an annual event in London made to celebrate all things Japanese, from food, technology, music, anime, manga, and other cultural aspects. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure that you do. So let's look at some side by side photos straight out of these devices, and let me know what you think. We're here at Hyper Japan today, and we're testing out the iPhone 14 Pro versus the Canon R6. So depending on the screen that you're watching this video in, you might not necessarily see too much difference, particularly if you're watching this on a mobile device. So what we can do is look at them side by side and zoom in. So very quickly I'm going to zoom into the R6, which I have on my left hand side here, and this is the iPhone 14. And what we can see straight away is that there's a lot more sharpness in the eyes and the overall detail of the shot. Also, the way that the bokeh in the background is represented is a lot less digital in the R6 as opposed to what it looks like on the iPhone 14. Another thing we can quickly check on this image is the quality of the textures in things like material. So if we zoom in here, we can definitely see detail on the stitching of this cosplay, and as we zoom into the iPhone image, it looks very soft and blurry and it doesn't really blend. And bear in mind that the R6 is only a 20.1 megapixel sensor versus a 45 megapixel sensor of the phone, but of course we have the difference in the optics. So the lens used for this was the 15 to 35mm f-stop 2.8, and this was the main camera, but again the optics are going to win out when you're comparing it to a full frame camera. We have another example here, and we can see the light of the R6 seems to match the skin tones a little bit better than that of the iPhone. And one of the things that I'd like to do again is just zoom into the eyes. Again, much sharper, much more definition. I think you can also tell with the dynamic range that the R6 seems to handle the blacks and the whites a little bit better than the iPhone 14 Pro. Now, of course, we know that the R6 is going to produce a better image overall because it's a dedicated full-frame camera. That's the job of this camera. And also, it's got a 15 to 35mm f-stop 2.8 lens attached to it. If we were to post both of these pictures together in an Instagram carousel, I doubt too many people would complain at you that they don't match or the quality isn't as good in the second photo as it is in the first because of the compression. So again, this proves that having your iPhone 14, particularly for social media content, is a great investment in my opinion. But overall, the image quality of the R6 is superior, and we expect that anyway. It is scary how quickly mobile devices are getting better and better when it comes to image quality compared to professional cameras like the full-frame Canon R6. Moving on to video, the iPhone 14 Pro is packed with features including 4K video at up to 60 frames per second, super smooth stabilization with action video, and an impressive cinematic video function. On the other hand, the Canon R6 with its full-frame sensor delivers outstanding video quality, especially in low light at 1080p, but also up to 60 frames per second in 4K. Now, when it comes to video, one noteworthy feature of the iPhone 14 Pro is that it boasts built-in stabilization, making it an excellent choice for on-the-go handheld videos. The Canon R6 also includes IBIS, or in-body image stabilization. If we look at these side by side, the R6 IBIS has a slight wobble in the corners, or a slight warping.
I can't see you.
You can't see me, but I'm talking to you.
I can see you. We're doing the OA headset and I can't get this little. I'm getting it the right size. Then this.
And I'd be more inclined to just turn off the IBIS of the R6 and use a gimbal instead of going free handheld. But the iPhone 14 Pro does a fantastic job of stabilizing super shaky handheld footage, and for me, this is a really powerful selling point, particularly if you're considering using your iPhone for on-the-go video, content creation, vlogging. Then this feature will definitely be something that you want to consider. When it comes to the video file formats, the Canon R6 has C-Log 3 installed, and you can also shoot in HDR-PQ if you want. On the other hand, the iPhone 14 Pro offers ProRes video, allowing you to retain more information and dynamic range in your videos. However, using this mode on the iPhone will consume much more storage, approximately 6 GB for just 1 minute of 10-bit HDR ProRes 4K video. And this brings us nicely onto the different memory storage options. First of all, the iPhone 14 Pro storage options are available in different capacities up to 1 TB. The 128GB version allows only about 20 minutes of ProRes 4K video. Storage on the iPhones has always been a little bit of an issue, and this is only exacerbated with more of these higher quality filming options coming out. In contrast, the Canon R6 features dual card slots providing flexible storage options. You never need worry about running out of memory. Also, while we're talking about the files, I must warn you that the Apple iPhone 14 Pro still features USB 2.0 transfer speeds, which means that the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max are capped at data transfer speeds of around 480 megabytes per second, or megabits per second, making it extremely slow to transfer photos and particularly videos to your Mac or PC for editing. Saying that though, you can download something like CapCut or InShot to edit on your iPhone directly, and I actually edited an 8-minute video in 4K and rendered it out all on my iPhone on CapCut, and it handled the process really well. So if you want an all-in-one solution for photos, filming, editing, and having your social media all in one place, then the iPhone 14 Pro is actually an amazing tool for that. Yes, I am talking to all of you content creators out there. Of course, the Canon R6 transfer speeds will depend on the SD card that you use, so you can transfer your large files over relatively quickly. However, one of the biggest disappointments with the Canon R6 has got to be the overheating issue when shooting video, which makes it unreliable for extended shooting sessions. Having experienced the dreaded overheating issue on an important project myself, I can say that I will not be using the Canon R6 as my main camera for any future projects. So just bear that in mind if you are considering a Canon R6 for extended shooting sessions like corporate events or weddings, and you need to capture long sessions like presentations or ceremonies or speeches. Let's talk about portability. The iPhone 14 Pro's compact size makes it super convenient to carry it around and shoot while you're out and about. As mentioned before, you can also directly edit 4K content on this phone with no problems at all. Travel content creators will love this device. The R6, of course, is much bulkier and heavier. It's more suited for professional photo and video sessions. In fact, I've been using my Canon R6 for the last year, mainly for my YouTube videos. So how much of your hard-earned cash will you have to hand over for these creative tools? If you're looking for an iPhone 14 Pro, it's going to cost you about $999 for the 128GB version, all the way up to $1,499 for the 1TB version. If you're looking for the Pro Max, it's going to cost you $1,099 for the 128GB version, all the way up to $1,599 for the 1TB version. And if you're in the UK and you want to get yourself an iPhone 14 Pro, you're looking at £1,099 for the 128GB version, all the way up to £1,649 for the 1TB version. And for the EOS R6, If you're going to buy it from the official Canon store, it's going to cost you $1,999, and the official UK store, you're looking at $2,149.99, but unfortunately it seems to be out of stock. Now, of course, this comparison is between a piece of equipment that's been created for the sole purpose of photography and video production and a mobile device that has amazing cameras and photo and video options, but can also do a plethora of other things as well. Which one you decide to get will depend on your specific needs and use cases. The Canon R6 caters to professional photographers, documentary filmmakers, and visual creatives, while the iPhone 14 Pro offers unmatched convenience and exceptional camera quality for everyday use, particularly quick, easy, and quality content for social media. I have personally found that I use the Canon R6 for my YouTube studio videos, where it's set up on a tripod recording 10-bit 4K C-Log IPB, and I just have to ensure that I don't go over the 40 minutes or so record time before it overheats. I also have my iPhone 14 Pro with me all the time, and I've been using it regularly to capture content for reels, behind the scenes, and on-the-go vlog shots that I also include in these YouTube videos. So overall, they complement my creative curiosities and are currently the tools that I use to create my everyday content. And it really is easy to get caught up in the debate of mobile photography and videography versus traditional cameras, which one's better and why. But from my personal perspective, as someone who regularly uses both of these tools for my work, I can honestly say that these are just that. They are tools. Tools that we use to run our business, to work for our clients, to capture and create memories. And by embracing and learning to use both of these types of tools, we open doors of opportunity that we never knew existed to us. Wow, that got deep. So thank you for listening to my TED Talk. What are your thoughts on using mobile devices for content creation, photography, and video compared to traditional cameras like the Canon R6? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. And now that you've watched this video, go check out my review of the Canon R6 versus the Canon R7, or go watch this video here recommended by YouTube. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to stay updated. So keep imagining, implementing, and inspiring, and I'll catch you in the next video.